Hi, I'm Carrie. I found the love of my life in high school, but I ripped his heart to pieces. So I guess I'm the bad guy in this story. But before I continue, please like and subscribe. Ever since I was a kid, I dreamed of falling in love, just like my parents. My dad was a firefighter and he saved my mom's life. It was love at first sight. Soon they were married and they had my big brother Leo, and 10 years later, I was born. I had the perfect family, but when I turned 6, things took a turn. My parents weren't getting along anymore, and every time they were in the same room, they'd start shouting at each other. Once I wanted to cheer them up, so I tried to make dinner, but the stove caught fire.
You were supposed to be watching her. I was busy. Where were you?
They argued so loud, I could barely sleep, but Leo was always there to make me feel better. We'd hide out in the basement to play games, and he'd read me bedtime stories. I loved the romantic ones the best. Leo even dressed up like a clown and danced around the room, and I almost peed my pants laughing. A few months later, Mom left us. We were really sad she was gone, but Leo always cheered us up with his jokes and silly impressions. He even encouraged me to start writing. When I wasn't writing love stories, I helped him write jokes. After a while, Leo had his own stand-up comedy routine. But when I was 12, I came home from school one day, and Leo told me the worst news. My dad had an accident, and he'd fallen into a coma. My whole world turned upside down in that instant. Then, Leo moved back home to take care of me. He quit comedy and got an office job to pay the bills. You can't do this. What about your tour?
You need me, Carrie. Family comes first.
I felt so guilty that Leo had to give up his dream because of me. When I got to high school, I was determined to get into a good university on scholarship, so Leo didn't have to worry about me and could pursue his career again. I focused on my studies and kept turning down my friends' offers to hang out, and soon they stopped asking. It was for the best because it meant less distractions. Plus, I felt guilty having fun while Leo was sacrificing so much to take care of me. But then, this new boy Andy joined our class in 11th grade, and he was always flirting and trying to get my attention. I didn't respond at first, but he was so sweet and funny, and eventually, I gave in. And soon enough, we started dating. Andy was very understanding of my situation and always gave me my space to study. He even encouraged me to start writing love stories again. But even though Leo and I were so close, I was reluctant to share this latest development. Since our parents' divorce, Leo had been so cynical about love. He hated Valentine's Day and watching rom-coms, and he would go around quoting divorce stats all the time. But then one day after school, Leo came home early from work and caught me and Andy kissing on the porch.
Hey, get away from my sister, you creep.
Calm down, Leo. This is Andy. He's my boyfriend. But Leo shoved Andy out of the way, then dragged me inside.
Since when do you have a boyfriend? You're too young, and that boy is trouble.
Leo, I'm 16, and you don't even know him.
I'm sure he's just like every other boy on the planet. He'll pretend to like you, then he'll break your heart. I'm just trying to protect you.
You're not like that. Not all boys are. Come on, give him a chance. Just hang out with him once. I'm sure you'll love him. After a lot of pleading, Leo reluctantly agreed, and Andy suggested that the three of us could have dinner together. That turned out to be a pretty awkward evening because Leo either interrogated Andy like an army sergeant or silently glared at him. At the end of the meal, Leo paid the bill, and as we were leaving, he spotted Andy slipping in some extra tip.
Oh, so you think I'm cheap, huh? You think I didn't tip enough? No, it was fine. I just wanted to tip a bit more. $100? Wow. So I pay for the whole dinner, but you come off as the hero and make me look like a cheapskate in front of my sister by tipping like a prince? Well, not all of us grew up with a silver spoon in our mouths. Look, you've got the wrong idea.
But Leo didn't listen, and he was pissed. Ugh, why did Andy have to do that? After that, Leo and Andy just couldn't get along. Whenever they were in the same room, there was always so much tension. Like on my 16th birthday, Andy got me a Princess Anna costume complete with a tiara he'd made himself because I'd once said jokingly that I wished I was young enough to dress up as her.
Yeah, that's a gift you give a 5-year-old girl. Look who's cheap now. Has your dad gone bankrupt?
I know it's not an expensive gift, but I thought Carrie would find it amusing.
Yeah, I do. It's fun. Please, Carrie, go change into something nice and wear this gold pendant I got for you. See? It has semi-precious emeralds to match your beautiful eyes. It cost me a month's salary, but you're precious to me, and it's totally worth it.
OMG, you're the sweetest brother, Leo. As he put the necklace on me, he accidentally knocked Andy's tiara off my head, and it broke into pieces. Andy turned around to leave, and I raced after him. Please, don't be angry. It was an accident, and I do think the costume was funny.
Nah, it was a stupid idea. I'm late for something, Carrie. I gotta go.
A few weeks later, I invited Leo to one of Andy's baseball matches. Andy was the captain of his team, and I was sure Leo would be impressed by his performance. The game was really close, but Andy's team lost.
Wow, that was painful to watch. And who's the idiot that made you captain? You clearly suck. Man, why are you such a jerk? I call it like I see it, dude. You know what? You should be the mascot. That way, you don't have to show your ugly face on the field. You don't have to disrespect me in front of my team. Yeah, I do. You're a loser, and someone has to let you know.
Andy's eyes started twitching, and I almost thought he punched Leo, but he turned abruptly and headed to the locker room. Hey, Andy, you don't have to take Leo so seriously. He was only joking.
He's not joking. He hates me, and he treats me like garbage. And what's worse is that you don't even see it and won't do anything about it.
What do you want me to do? He's my older brother. You just have to get used to him.
No, actually, I don't. I think I need a break.
Andy and I stopped seeing each other after that. It was a no-brainer for me if it came to choosing between my brother and my boyfriend, but it still hurt a lot. A few weeks later, I started feeling really sick and had to be taken to the hospital, and it turned out that I needed a new kidney as soon as possible. Leo volunteered to give me one of his, and he turned out to be a perfect match. The surgery was successful, and I started feeling much better. Leo, you're my hero.
You know I'd do anything for you, Carrie.
Andy, what are you doing here?
You weren't coming to school, and the teacher said you were unwell. I was just so worried about you. It felt like torture not being able to see you every day, and I don't want to be apart any longer, Carrie. I've missed you so much.
I've missed you too. Sometime later, we both jumped up as some police officers burst into my room, and they tackled Andy and put him in handcuffs.
He's my sister's psycho ex who just can't accept their breakup and won't leave her alone. Take him away.
What? The police started walking Andy out the door, so I threw myself in front of them and managed to convince them that Andy and I had just gotten back together and he wasn't a stalker. The police released Andy, but they were really annoyed with Leo. They scolded him for filing a false report, but Leo just wouldn't let it go.
She's afraid of him, and that's why she's covering up for him. Do your jobs, you morons, and arrest him.
The police hauled Leo off to jail for the night for being a nuisance, and he missed a huge meeting at work, and the next morning, he was fired from his job, and I felt horrible. Leo had to take a new job that paid less and made him miserable, and he didn't talk to me for days. Leo, I wish you hadn't overreacted that night, and none of this would have happened.
I was only looking out for you, Carrie. You told me you guys had broken up, so I thought he was pestering you and I'd teach him a lesson. Now I'm paying the price for wanting to protect you.
I'm really sorry.
You're not the one who needs to apologize.
Maybe if Andy apologized to him, everything would be all right. Look, the situation with you and Leo is really bad. You have to apologize if you want to fix this.
But I didn't do anything wrong. Look, I'm sorry Leo lost his job, but that's not my fault. He acted like a total maniac, Carrie. You were there.
But Leo doesn't see it that way. Unless you tell him you were wrong to sneak into my room and beg for his forgiveness, we can't be together.
That's not fair, Carrie. Come on, we love each other.
And Leo loves me more than anybody. Sure, he can be difficult, but he's always been there for me. Leo comes before everyone else. Andy resisted the idea, but eventually he caved and said he'd do it.
What's he doing here?
Andy's here to apologize to you.
Oh, it's about time. But my forgiveness won't come so easily, jerk. Why don't you go down on your knees and tell me how sorry you really are?
Leo, please don't.
If he really loves you, surely he can do this. I mean, I gave up a kidney for you. I'm not asking him to do much.
Andy turned to me with tears in his eyes.
I'm sorry, Carrie. I do love you, but I can't do this.
Andy and I broke up for good after that. We graduated from high school, and Andy went off to a fancy university in another city. I went to a local community college so I could stay close to Dad and Leo. But as I grew older, I started to notice that Leo wasn't as perfect as I thought. Anytime things didn't work out in his life, he'd blame it on someone else.
Of course, I didn't get the job. They're all idiots.
But you showed up 20 minutes late to the interview, Leo. Leo started resenting successful people. He even got jealous when I sold my first romance novel to a big book publisher.
What kind of losers would read this junk?
For years, I'd been putting my brother on a pedestal and ignoring his flaws. He'd been like a dad to me, and I wanted him to be perfect, but he wasn't. And as my writing career picked up, he was getting worse. Leo quit his job and started partying all the time. He constantly left the house a mess and criticized everything I did. And whenever I brought a boy over, he always said something to push them away.
Jeez, I've never met someone so stupid. You have the IQ of an ant. You're really ugly. Does it run in the family?
After a while, I'd had enough. What is wrong with you?
I'm perfectly fine. Yo, can I borrow $400?
I can't stand this anymore. You used to be a really nice guy, and now you're terrible. You're selfish, rude, lazy, and all you ever do is complain and blame everyone else for your problems.
I'm selfish? I sacrificed everything to take care of you. If my life hasn't worked out the way I wanted, it's your fault. And the success you're enjoying now is all because of everything I did for you. You should be thanking me. You'd be nothing without me.
I'm grateful for what you did and always will be, but I'm not gonna keep feeling guilty for the rest of my life. I can take care of myself now. You're free. I left my home the next day and moved into my own apartment. The time away from Leo gave me a chance to focus on myself. I started a few new hobbies. I traveled, and I even sold 3 more more best-selling novels. Leo eventually apologized in his own unique way.
Lately, I've had the chance to think about a lot of things, and I've been a supersized jerk. I guess at some point, I started to resent giving up on my dreams and having so many responsibilities. Andy was rich, and I felt inferior to him, and I hated him for having things easy. And then I started resenting your success too. What kind of big brother am I? You're better off without me.
You're the only family I have, Leo, and I'll always need you in my life. Leo even convinced me to reach out to Andy. I met Andy at a cafe in New York City. I was so nervous, but the moment I saw Andy's face, all my old feelings for him came rushing back.
Carrie, it's so good to see you. I've really missed you. I've never felt the same way about anyone else, and
Andy, let me speak first. I am so sorry. I was wrong, and I never should have asked you to apologize to my brother. I shouldn't have broken up with you, and I've regretted it ever since.
Maybe, if it's not too late, we can start over.
I'd really like that. Then I pulled Andy close and kissed him.